Okay, welcome to my studio. This is just a play in a sketchbook of a picture that I took of my beach out the back. This is basically my backyard. So let me walk you through just what I'm thinking, the colours I'm mixing, and I hope this gives you some inspiration to try it yourself. What I'm trying to achieve here is loosening up, looking at what needs to be included and pushing out what doesn't. So I hope that I can tell you the colours that I'm using and my thought processes behind what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm mixing some colours here. I'm trying to get something close to the ocean, and I'm looking at ultramarine blue. I think I used Viridian and some Prussian blue. Very rarely will I use just one colour. So I'm lightly finding the horizon line. I'm not too attached with it being too straight either. Wasn't really happy with the colour, so I'm just playing with some more and bringing that forward, remembering to leave a little bit of white for the reflection on the ocean. Bit of dry brushing here as much as I can with that brush. I'm just dabbing it, not using too much. Picking up a little bit more Viridian to darken it up now. And some possibly some indigo right there on the horizon, just to darken that up and just find some really darker places in here. Righto. Time to let that dry. I think I'm working into the sky next, so you can see it's quite a stormy sky. I'm starting with a fair bit of ultramarine blue, which is what I like to bring it in. Now it is a blue-green, so I'm pulling in a bit of Prussian blue to try and darken it up. Loosely doing the sky. It's probably still a lot bluer than I would have liked. Needs to be a bit grayer. I think I play with that a bit later. Bringing it down with just some water to lighten it down the horizon, but really that's where the storm is, so I think I come back and add some colour. I'm careful not to touch that ocean there. Alright, pulling back some clouds just with a tissue. Those clouds are just a bit lighter, so I'm just pulling back those clouds with a tissue, and then I'll build them back up. Back into that Prussian blue to pick up the darker colour and build up that storm low on the horizon. I'm still not touching the horizon line. I didn't want them to mix. Dropping those darker blues underneath the clouds. It's very darker under there. Just tapping around, dropping a bit of colour in wet on wet there. Anywhere where it's not blending much, I'll add a bit more water and just try and soften those edges off. I don't want hard edges. A little bit of backwards and forwards from the picture to my palette. All right, I'm going to work on the sand now, picking up yellow ochre there for the sand and probably mixing it with maybe a little bit of red and some green to get a more neutralized color in here, and just loosely bringing it across. If I start with a lot of water, that will give me somewhere to go and keeps it nice and light. Watercolour also dries a bit lighter, so I'm just picking up that darker bit now where the wet sand is. Picking up a bit of red to add into that to neutralise it. Nope, that was a bit of purple, which is no, can't tell. Just a bit of purple. It's a really vibrant purple, that one. Dropping it in, and that's making some beautiful darkness there, and bringing that forward so that the water can go over the top of that and give that effect. Still just trying to be light in the brush, very light. Dabbing it back where there might be too much and I don't want puddles. A bit more of that purple. Purple's neutralising the yellow and giving me almost a nice brown, but it's a bit more interesting than just straight brown. I'm picking up the cliffs in the background, I brought it in with a brown first, just to give it a base of where to go from there. Just finding the shapes, darkness down the bottom where the rocks are, and the shadows. Right, there is an island out there, it's called Cook Island, so I'm just bringing in a little bit of Cook Island just to start finding the shapes there as well. Very light, so that I can, if it's not quite right, I can push it back or build on it if it is. A couple of little details. Just still picking up what needs to be picked up and not being too attached with what is in the background. Alright, adding a bit of green to the top of the little hill in the background. It's got a rock face and then greenery on the top, and comes quite far out into the water as well. A few trees sitting on the top. Probably trying to use a nice neutral green. Olive green is probably the colour I'm using there. It's not very bright. Picking up the darkness. It's really quite dark down near the water where the rocks are, and a few other darks in that hill. It's just starting to bring it to life. Same again for the island, just picking up the lightness on the top. I'm just trying to give the impression of an island out there. Alright, gently bringing the water down over the bottom of the sand now, just to sort of bring those two areas together now that they're dried, and I can do it nice and lightly, just picking up that greeny colour, and I think I start to darken some of the areas as well. Still trying to leave some white for the waves crashing, waves breaking. There's a lot of white up there near the rocks as well. Just trying to blend it over the sand and make that a little more believable. Just blending it with some darker shades of green over the top. There's some little hard edges that I wasn't happy with there. Picking up the colours in the water. Still using those a lot more Viridian and Van Dyke green, sort of dark blue greens. There's a puddle on my sky that I wasn't happy with, and that'll need a bit of work to bring that back as well. Alright, I think I am picking up some darks and working on that horizon line because it really is very dark in the picture. Just carefully, just picking up what I need to. Yeah, I think that's indigo that I'm playing with there. Even though it's blue, it's a blue-green, and it's a good colour to pick up just the real darks. A lot of this is kind of more dry brushing so that I'm not doing too much and careful not to cover up too much of my white. Right, coming in with some really dark darks. I think I'm using Van Dyke Brown here and maybe a bit of sepia to pick up those twigs and branches that are right on the foreground. Nothing like a bit of finger painting to soften some edges, bring a bit of interest into it. There's real dark darks right in the very foreground. As you can see, I always have a tissue in my hand just to pull off what I'm not happy with. Little tiny. That's why this mop brush is so good. I can do really tiny marks, and by using the body I can, do skies and oceans. They really are a versatile brush. I think I got this one on Amazon. It's nothing special, just happens to be one of my favourites. And just off camera I'm starting to build up that bigger branch in the foreground and bring that through. Trying to not use my dryer to dry things off and find a bit of patience and enjoy the process, but I didn't make it. So here's the dryer, just making, trying to dry off so I can fix that sky and also bring that twig over the top. I want it to be quite dominant, those branches coming up over the top as well. So if I can't wait, then the dryer comes out. You can see that drying off really quickly. You can really see the puddle. There we go. Alright, best to dry it properly. So these are just the finishing touches now. Fixing up things that I'm not happy with. Back in with that Prussian blue to start and darken up that sky. Very dark down on the horizon, so I'll bring that back up as well and lighten it. It's always a push and pull. A little bit of water to blend that out. You can use those watermarks for your clouds. They do make beautiful marks for clouds as well. Did I get the colour right? Not quite. I could have kept mixing, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a fair bit of Prussian blue, which is a real blue-green, which kind of goes with the stormy sort of feel to it. Blending it back up with a sort of semi-dry brush. You did see me just tap that off nicely. Hopefully this works with the little watermark there, or else I'll just use that as cloud. Just softening some of those edges with just a bit of water. Blending it up, trying not to lose my clouds. I think that's starting to build up beautifully. Alright, this is just building up that branch on the left there, bringing it forward. Cut that off, but it's just a bit of a dance of a brush to give the impression of something very dark. No, actually I was just darkening up the very bottom, bringing in the rocks and things of that island out the back. Same again for Cook Island in the centre. Picking up the darkest darks, which are right down near the horizon, those dark rocks. Finishing touches now. Just little bits and pieces, picking up maybe a bit of green. There's a bit of sort of a yellow ochre to that mountain, that island out there. There we are, picking up the yellow ochre. Just dropping that in and letting it dry on the page. Again, just using the tip of that brush with some yellow ochre on that headland out the end there, just to bring in some of that yellow, add a bit more onto the island to tie it in nicely. There we go. Sorry about that. You didn't you missed quite a bit of that, but bringing that tree forward. Quick dry. I think I've picked up the darkness around that headland nicely there now. Just drying that off, I think, so that I can do the tree in the foreground. Always work from the back to the front with an artwork. I think I started with the very back of the ocean, and then I did the sky. And then while I'm waiting for the sky to dry, I did the sand and the headland and then the island, just moving around the artwork while I'm waiting for things to dry, and then helping them to dry with the dryer while I am doing it. So those darks in the foreground are starting to look really good, so I'm just bringing that up now. Very dark darks, probably sepia and Van Dyke brown, to bring that up. Dropping in some really dark darks into that. And that just brings it to life. Just brings a whole lot more depth just all of a sudden with those few twigs there, and it's nothing much, but it does just give depth to that nice little artwork. There we go, bit of finger for the dried leaves as well. There we go, pretty close now. Almost there, so I hope you've enjoyed that one. Just a bit of play in my sketchbook, trying to loosen up, practicing landscapes. Hope you've enjoyed that one. I'm pretty happy with it. I think, yep, it's what I wanted to achieve in that. So if you like this, like and subscribe, leave me a comment below. That would be great, and I will post some more shortly.